you, Jody. We're going to welcome in our panel now. Heritage Foundation visiting fellow Asher Fredman, along with foreign affairs analyst Harley Lippman. Gentlemen, great to be with you both. Harley, where does this all go?
Well, I think at the end of the day, unfortunately, the way you have closure with warfare is one side decisively defeats the other and the other side capitulates. Otherwise, you have a continuation of tit for tat. Iran is in no mood to surrender. They feel empowered by what they believe is their perceived weaknesses of President Trump's fears of the midterm elections, the price of gas going up at the gasoline station. So they feel they have President Trump in a weak position, and they're going to exploit it. What President Trump needs to do is to decisively go to win this war and end it, because this regime is a threat to the United States and the world.
Yeah, and Asher, I mean, should we be concerned about what Iran may do? We heard from Jody Cohen saying if they strike Israel again, Israel's going to hit back even harder. So will this turn into an all-out regional war, do you think?
Well, as long as the radical Ayatollah regime in Tehran is still in power, they'll retain the ability to threaten their neighbors, the Gulf states, Jordan, Israel, U.S. bases, to disrupt the Strait of Hormuz really whenever they want, right? Whenever they want to turn up the pressure, they can just threaten to attack ships or threaten to attack oil installations. As Harley pointed out, really the only way to remove this threat, to ensure the safety of the shipping through the Hormuz Strait, to ensure the safety of our Gulf allies, of allies like Jordan, like Israel, is to either change the regime or to degrade its military capabilities to such a degree that it no longer has the ability to disrupt and threaten the region.
Yeah, and Harley, do you think that's where we're heading, regime change?
Well, ultimately, that's the most desirable outcome. And I don't think there's any alternative. You can't work with people like this. You know, 7 presidents have reached out, tried to bribe this regime, extended hands of friendship. It never worked because you can't, make peace with a death cult. They want us dead. They want to impose Sharia law, Islamic law on the face of the earth. This is their words, not mine. They feel they're in a war with us. And I think that we've been largely in denial. Nothing's happened in the United States, so we don't really feel the threat of what they pose to us. But they pose a real existential threat. Remember, they were building ICBMs with a range of reaching the United States with only one purpose in mind: to carry a nuclear warhead. To invest billions of dollars in that, and to think that, they're just bluffing or it's a negotiating point, would be taking a colossal risk, because our adversaries tend to do what they say they'll do. Just listen to their words. They want to destroy the United States. Believe them.
Yeah, they always chant it, death to America, death to Israel. Asher, I want to jump off of one of the things that Harley said, that, we really haven't felt it here in the United States. But that said, I mean, I know there's a real fear of sleeper cells here, potentially a dirty bomb coming into the United States. Are you worried about Iran retaliating that way here on our homeland?
There is room for concern. Iran is perhaps the world leader in exporting terror. They've exported terror to Asia, to Europe, to South America, because under the previous administration, with the borders being open and so many people coming in, it's certainly possible that Iran has also brought in sleeper cells, or that it's just the way it's radicalized populations in Europe and other countries. It's possible that it's radicalized populations in certain people in the United States who would be willing to act to carry out these terror attacks. So that is a real fear. I think President Trump has made it clear that it's his primary goal is to prevent Iran from ever achieving a nuclear weapon. But there is this range of threats, whether it's U.S. forces in the region or to the United States' homeland, that really need to be taken into account. And I'm sure that President Trump is doing that. But that is a real concern, I think, for American national security.
Yeah, almost out of time. Harley, I want to go back to you, kind of get your final thoughts. And do you think that we're looking at something a little bit more long-term over there in the Middle East?
Well, I do hope so, because that would be his legacy if he were to change the regime in Iran, because it would make Americans safer, our children, our grandchildren. And it's also really important for the world as well. 20% of the world's oil comes out of the Strait of Hormuz. This is the largest choke point in the world. You can't allow another country to control a free international open waterway. Once you do that, you're going to have chaos and other nations doing it around the world. It's just unfortunately not sustainable. And only America has the military ability to do it. And you can't allow them to have nuclear weapons, because the risk is too high. They'll use it on our friends and on the United States. This is what they say. So given all that, I'm actually very impressed that the Trump administration took an effort to do everything possible. They basically gave them everything, and they still didn't accept it, which really tells you that they don't want peace, that they really want war. And we have to pay attention to that and win it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw them just kicking the can down the road when it came to negotiations. Harley and Asher, great to be with you both, gentlemen. Thank you so much for your insights.
Thank you.